Hello. You guys know I like to stop and look at this cactus. This is sweet. I love to look at that cactus. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday, everybody. To the people that just came through. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. I don't know if it's morning or evening where you are, but whichever one it is, happy Saturday. It's almost Sunday. So whatever you guys have not done this weekend, do it, okay? Do it. If you have not relaxed, released, related to the things you can relate to, respond to the things you can respond to, okay? Respect the things that need to be respected, refocus, reset, regroup, and restart. That is what it's time for. That's what this weekend is for. Even if you have to work this weekend, to all the weekend warriors, find yourself some time. You may not do it over the weekend. You may do it through the week. Because some people have those schedules, like we talked about before, they work every other weekend. So if you work every other weekend, or if you work every weekend, a lot of you guys have a day or two off during the week. So make sure you utilize those days to get yourself some rest, some relaxation. And remember, every day, take some part of the day, take some time to focus on self. Okay? Your self-love, self-respect, self-encouragement, self-motivation, self-love. Did I say self-love? Mm-hmm. 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 Self-control, self-admiration. Admire yourself. Admire yourself, okay? There are too many people showing so many other people admiration. But do you show yourself any admiration? Admire yourself, okay? Walk your own walk as only you can, because you can't walk anybody else's walk. You can try to walk their walk, you can try to talk their talk, but it does not work, okay? It doesn't come across as authentic, and it's not you. So, if there's something that you like, someone motivates you, be motivated to do it, but do it your way. Do it your way. A million people can do the same thing, but what will make it interesting is if you do it your way. A million people can think the same way, but what makes it interesting is that each individual, even though they may generally think the same about a subject, they're going to bring their own little nugget, okay? They're going to bring their own spin on it. It's just like teachers. When teachers are teaching, some teachers are good teachers, some teachers are great teachers. Because great teachers find a way to get the information to your children or to you. If you're in school, great teachers find a way to get that same information to you in a way that you're more receptive to. Okay? Every elementary teacher, have you guys ever talked to your kids? Or have you yourselves ever experienced that time in your life when you were in school, whether it was elementary school, high school, or even college. And you had so many teachers that taught a particular subject, right? But everybody wanted to get in one particular teacher's class. Everybody. Not to say you couldn't do well in another class, but everybody always wanted to get in that one particular teacher's class when it came to math, English, reading, writing, whatever it was, science, biology, chemistry, geometry, algebra. Because even though they were teaching, say, algebra, even though you had 3 teachers you could choose from on the schedule, as long as the class was open, you could choose from 3 teachers, right? Most people would choose a particular teacher because even though at the end of the day it's all algebra, guess what? The teacher that everybody wants to be in their class, they teach that algebra in a different way. Okay? They're unique. They're unique. So instead of saying everybody does something or millions of people do something, that's true. That's a given. That's common sense. Put your own take on it. Put your own spin on it. And be unique, original, and authentic. Be unique, original, and authentic. And as you guys walk along, if you catch the replay, I appreciate it. If you come through the live, like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have not already, okay? If you don't want to subscribe today, look at some of the other videos, the other lives. Come back again in the future, hopefully, and subscribe then. You can support in so many ways, okay? You don't have to be subscribed to like. You can like, you can comment, you can subscribe. Once you subscribe, tap that notification bell so you'll know the next time I go live or upload a short, because I'm a shorts channel. I'm a shorts channel that goes live, okay? I'm a shorts channel that goes live. I've been feeling so peaceful the past like 2 weeks. It has been so peaceful. I have gotten back to where I was like a few months ago. I've gotten back to that. And let me tell you, it's peaceful. It's peaceful. You don't have to have, you can have 1 person in the chat. You can have 10 people in the chat. You can have 100 people in the chat. But if there are a bunch of busybodies or messy bodies, your chat won't be peaceful. Your mind, you won't have peace of mind. You know, a lot of times, the best time is alone time. The best time is time to be to yourself and evaluate the things that you have going on in life. Evaluate the things that you would like to have going on. Think about your goals. Think about the goals you've met, you've reached. Think about the ones you're in the middle of reaching. And think about future goals, whether they be short-term or long-term. Okay? Short-term or long-term. And always, we talk about self, all those self words. Self was the prefix to a lot of words, right? To me, that respect, self-respect, is so key. So key. Because if you don't have much self-respect, you're not going to respect anybody else. You may feel like you respect yourself, but if you're causing anybody else any havoc, harm, or angst, then you don't have much self-respect. Because a lot of times, that's what makes people happy, is to see someone else not happy. So how much do you respect yourself that you like to dwell on misery, right? So think about how much self-respect do you really have. Okay, guys, that was a big truck with the big noise. That was a big truck with big noise. I don't know if you can feel the wind. If you can not feel it, but if you can hear the breeze, I don't know if you can hear that wind. If you can, I apologize, because let me tell you, there is nothing more annoying than listening to a live and hearing all that wind Yes, it feels good, okay? It feels good to the content creator, but that is so annoying hearing all that wind just, it seems like the wind just takes your phone and just swings it back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, throws it up and down, throws it up and down. So if it sounds like that to you, I do apologize. But thank you for coming on this Let's Walk and Talk Live with me. We've been doing these for well over a year. And as we always do, we encourage you to always contact your primary health care provider, okay? Be it your general practitioner, your doctor, your nurse practitioner, physician's assistant, physical therapist, occupational therapist, your nutritionist, because over half of it is the diet, right? Okay? We'll just say half and half. You go. Okay? You go. Hey. Thank y'all. Y'all too. You just say, see, you got your neighbors motivating you. You got your neighbors motivating you. No strings attached, no agendas. They're just being motivational. Motivate someone when you can, okay? But also respect boundaries. Motivate someone when you can, and also respect boundaries. Because I think a lot of times people get motivation misconstrued with imitation, okay? Do things your way. I can motivate people, people can motivate me. But the one thing I will not do is carbon copy anybody. Like I said, it's just like having a bunch of Stepford wives in the same neighborhood. It's just like every house having the same exact car in the neighborhood. What's the excitement there? What's the excitement there? We can all have a car, right? But the excitement and what keeps it interesting is having the different makes and models, right? Different makes and models. Same thing with exercising. Same thing with painting. Same thing with anything. You will never see me go into somebody's chat and then leave their chat and go do a verbatim live like them. That's what I was experiencing. And it's so old and tired. Even things they never thought about at first, they would start to say, you got an attitude because I picked it. Yes, I'm going to peg you. I'm going to peg you. Every single time. Because that's how I am. That's just how I am. I'm going to peg you. Every single time. People changing their descriptions. I mean, you have to be sure that what works for somebody else will work like that for you. Because 9 times out of 10 it won't. Especially when you're not genuine. When you're not genuine and when you're not sincere. And when you're attempting to just basically rip off. So, again, always think about anything you do. Get motivation from other people. Get ideas from other people. Get encouragement from other people. But always put your own spin on it. It can be the exact same thing, but nobody wants to see a set of Stepford wives. Nobody wants to. It even gets boring. A lot of people have said, I moved into this neighborhood. I really didn't think about the fact that every house in this neighborhood has the same layout. That's boring. That's boring. Back to the car reference. Teslas are nice cars. But if every driveway in your neighborhood has a Tesla, even if they're different colors, if everyone has a Tesla, where's the originality? There is none. And there's no justification for it. There's no justification that you can use for it. Well, I just want it. True, but still, where is the originality? So just try to be original. Try to do things your way. Everybody can take cues from everybody. A lot of people are going to do the same thing. But don't sit on top of a copy machine and press copy. Don't do that. And then get mad. Get mad when it's noticed. Don't do that. So I've gotten that kind of trash out of the chat. Thank goodness. It's still floating around the YouTube, but it's out of the chat. And I feel so much better than better. And I hope that this weekend, you guys are doing something. It's lightning. It's lightning. There aren't many trees around, but there are enough trees around that I gotta be careful. Okay? Okay? I gotta be careful. And if you are catching this live replay, don't forget to check out the shorts. Okay? Because I'm a shorts channel. Check out the shorts. Do you guys hear that thunder? Do you hear that thunder? I hope it starts to rain a little bit while I'm outside, because anybody who knows me knows that I love to walk in the rain. I want you guys to look at the legs move, okay? Look at the legs moving. Look at the legs. You see those black tennis shoes? Those are my Hokas. Those are my Hokas. And let me tell you, they are worth every penny, y'all. I have had them for a few months now. And to anybody who knows me, I always talk about how I love New Balance. They are my favorite shoe. And I think that New Balance are still my favorite shoes. But these Hokas, when I was reading about them, a lot of people would compare them to Clouds. And they said that Hokas didn't hold up, to their liking. And then you had other people that said Hokas were great. Pretty much the majority said Hokas are great. I have to agree. I have to agree. The Hokas are great. So look at the legs move. Look at the legs move. Keep moving. Keep moving those legs consistently, for 30 minutes, at least daily. There's nothing wrong with cardiovascular activity 7 days a week. Okay? But for those who want to take a break, 5 days is fine. Okay? Strive for 5. 5 days is fine. Is it 5 days is fine? 5 days are fine. I guess to do it would be in a singular sense. But they're 5 days. So 5 days are fine. Okay? I'm going to think of the sense 5 years. 5 days is fine. To do it 5 days, that's just fine. Okay? That way, if you miss a day or two, you've at least worked out for 3 days, right? And 3 is the bare minimum when it comes to cardiovascular activity, working that heart. The heart is a muscle. Just like when we're strength training, we're doing weight resistance training, weight training. Just like when we're doing that, we need to give those muscles a break in between. Now the abdominals, some people are on the fence about that. Some people do their abdominals daily. I like daily. Some every other day. Either one is fine. But at least get you about 1,000 in. 500 to 1,000 crunches in. Okay? And don't be discouraged if you don't see the ab formation. Because it may just mean that you need to get a little bit more fat off. You might just need to get a little bit more of that fat off. Believe you me, if you're doing those abdominal exercises consistently, not so much, it doesn't have to always be crunches either, but there are so many different exercises you can do to work on your abs, your obliques. If you're doing them consistently, increase your cardiovascular if you haven't started to see them the way you would like to see them. Because when you do increase your cardiovascular, the fat will start to go off, okay? Okay? Now this is general information. This is for educational, informative, entertainment purposes only, right? That's what that copyright 107 is about. So we want to let you know, and we've made disclaimers over here. We've always made them, we always will. Always contact your primary care provider. And I just named them about 10 minutes ago, right? Your general practitioner, that's just the doctor. Not just, but you know what I'm saying. There are so many different names, right? Your physician's assistant, your PA, your CRNP, your certified registered nurse practitioner, your nutritionist, your I was about to say speech therapist. Some people do say speech therapist, but right now we're talking about physical, okay? So your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, your fitness trainer, your wellness instructor. It's a collaborative effort, and as I always say, think of them as holding hands, locked arm in arm in a circle. Think of them as an atom, and think of yourself as the nucleus of that atom, okay? It's a collaborative effort, and you are the nucleus. So you let them know what works, what you feel like is working. If you feel like something isn't working, let them know. And guess what? You guys just revisit the plan and modify. You revisit the plan and you modify. You make adjustments. Okay? You revisit the plan, you modify, you make adjustments. Just like we have to do with everything else. A lot of us have to make adjustments every day, right? Something's not working out one way, do it another way, okay? Do it another way. So yes, watch the legs move. Look at the legs move. I hope it motivates you to get up and move. And you can move in various ways, okay? Walking, but walking isn't the be all be all. Like, okay? You can walk, you can skip, you can run, you can jog, you can sprint, you can skate, you can ride your bicycle in the neighborhood. You can ride your stationary bicycle in your home. You can get on your treadmill, you can get on your elliptical. You can just get up and dance, okay? You can walk around every room of your house. If it's too hot outside, because we want to stay cool, all right? If it's too hot outside and you have to exercise, your time of day is right there in the middle of the heat. Walk around in the office building. Walk around the mall. Walk around your house, the biggest room of your house. Walk around several rooms of your house. Do laps. Or walk around outside, but stay around your house so that if you get too hot, you can go inside. Okay? There's, what, 14 things I just named. Go swimming, okay? Okay? And always, always, always make sure that you warm up and cool down. During your warm up, you want to stretch, okay? You want to stretch and do some mild things like squats to get that heart rate up and get that heart ready for your cardiovascular activity. So you want to stretch, get the heart rate up, and go into your workout. And when you're done, you want to cool down, bring that heart rate back down to resting heart rate. Resting, meaning what your heart rate should be when you're not doing anything strenuous, when you're just maybe sitting down, just watching TV. You want to bring it back down to as close as possible to your resting heart rate. And then you want to do what? You want to stretch again. You want to stretch again, okay? Some people don't stretch at all, or they don't stretch until you bring it to their attention if they're not stretching. I guess it's better late than never, right? Some people don't stretch at all. So yes, you want to think of the word radar, R-A-D-A-R. The R is for stretching, okay? The A is your warm up. D is your workout. A is your cool down, and R is your stretching. You start and end the same way. You end the way you start the way you end. Remember to stretch, okay? And don't just talk it, do it. Because if you know correctly, you know that your stretching should be done before and after. Most importantly, after you've done all that, get in the shower, okay? Doesn't matter if you've had 5 showers a day. When you're done working out, get your butt in the shower, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, okay? Okay? Get those heinies in the shower. Get that sweat off. Get that sweat off. Get that stuck on sweat, clingy sweat off of you. I don't care if you walked for 10 minutes, and darn sure if you walked over 30, get in the shower. No excuses are justifiable, okay? No excuses are justifiable. Even in the wintertime, okay? Your groin is an enclosed area. Under your arms is a, that's why do you think you get musty, okay? You know, in those sweaty areas, sweat builds, and they are conducive to the growth of bacteria, viruses, fungi. They're conducive to that when you leave that in place, okay? So I don't care if you showered. Okay, think of this. Taking a shower before you exercise and then saying, I showered before. That's just like, liken that to going in the restroom and washing your hands before you use the restroom, but not after. Okay? I know your mama taught you better than that. Okay? Now, you can wash your hands before you use the restroom and after, of course. But to wash your hands before using the restroom, then use the restroom and don't wash them after. That's nasty. That's icky, okay? Don't do that. That's the same thing as showering before you do an activity and then say, I didn't get too hot, I didn't get too wet, and we're in the middle of July, okay? No matter where you are, we're in the middle of July. No matter how much this wind blows, I'm getting my tail in the shower. Now, a lot of people don't sweat that much, but if you walk over 30 minutes, you've sweated. You've probably sweated and it's dried as well. Maybe you didn't sweat as much as the next person, and there's somebody maybe who didn't sweat as much as you, but you sweated, okay? Get in the shower. Stop making excuses. Beforehand doesn't cover the grimy after effects, okay? So get your butt in the shower. Just like when you used to go outside when you were kids, before you went and got in your mama's bed, or your bed that your mama bought, that your daddy bought. What did they tell you? Get your butt in the shower. Get in that tub, okay? Don't keep those wet undies on. Do not. And nothing may happen the first time, the second time, third time. Man, you may not, nothing may happen anytime. But don't set yourself up with an environment that's conducive to the growth of bacteria, viruses, and fungi, okay? Not good. Not good. Not good. I don't know what you guys have planned for the rest of the weekend, but whatever it is, y'all hear the cicadas? We don't hear the birds that much today. I haven't heard the birds that much today or this evening, but we hear those cicadas, don't we? They are singing loudly and proudly. They are singing loudly. They are singing proudly. Hey, what is that? What is that? Oh, I got you. I got you. Yeah, it was empty for so long. Every time I walked by here, it was empty. Okay. Okay. Okay, guys. And remember, if you truly lack any motivation to get up and move, maybe you do need like a partner, or maybe not even a partner. Maybe you need like when you're staying in a hotel, you get a wake up call. Maybe you need someone to call you at a certain time every day to encourage you to get up and move your body. Okay, move your body, move your body, move your body, work your body. Make sure you don't hurt your body. And whatever you do, make sure you don't hurt your body. Make sure that you're not showing out, trying to show off, okay? Trying to do more than you can do, trying to do things that you haven't done in 10, 15, 20 years, okay? And as always, before starting, implementing, creating any workout regimen, routine, or plan, talk to all those people who are part of your atom. Remember, you are the nucleus. So talk to all those people who want to see about you, okay? Who check on you, who you see every, once a year, twice a year, some people 3 or 4 times a year, and that's okay, that's all right. If you have to go to the doctor 3 or 4 times a year, that's okay. They're just keeping good check on you. Make sure you always get your lab work, look at it, ask questions if you need to, call back. I know doctors' offices can be busy, and sometimes you feel like just a number, but hey, be persistent. Be persistent in your health care. And if that doctor doesn't have time for you, if you feel like you're not being recognized the way you should, sometimes you may have to consider another doctor, okay? But hopefully the one that you have will be just fine. Hopefully the one that you have will be just fine. We have to understand and realize that they really do get busy throughout the day. Doctors see more people. The doctors, that profession, they probably see more people in a day than some people see all week. So yes, sometimes doctors are really busy. And sometimes they can come off as short, you know, but, and it doesn't mean anything all the time. But you know when there's something that's just not right about his attitude, her demeanor, you know. So work with them. But when you just don't feel like that's the one for you, go to another one. There's nothing wrong with it. Go to another doctor, okay? It's just like if you were having your car repaired. If you go to the dealership, and especially if you go to the dealership of your car and something's just not right, what are we going to do? We're probably going to go to another place that can service that car. And we even if we have to go out of town to the next town over. So a lot of times we have to be reminded to think of our bodies the way we think of our cars. That's sad to say, but you guys know we need those cars to get the kids to school sometimes, to get to work, to get to church, to get to school. We need the car just to get to the grocery store. We need the cars, right? So as soon as we need to take it to be looked at, we do. So that's how we need to do about ourselves. That's how we need to treat ourselves. Some people treat cars better than they treat themselves. Some people treat cars better than they treat themselves. I guess they feel like, you know, they need the car in order to get around, in order to be productive. But you need to check on yourself in order to do that as well, okay? You need to do that so that you can continue to take care of your family and your friends who depend on you, right? So take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Be mindful. Be mindful of things going on with you. And I think it was Badass that came in here one day. I'm so mindful of when he said, let the doctor know. You know, let the doctor know if you have a question. Sometimes there are certain questions that some people won't ask. Some people will ask, if they have 10 questions, they'll ask it. They'll ask 9, but it may be that one question, I don't know, maybe they're a little bit ashamed to ask. Maybe they're a little bit embarrassed about it. Could be any reason. Maybe they think that the doctor will think it's a stupid question. Well, guess what? Even if he thinks it's a stupid question, hopefully you'll get the right answer. You know, some of the smartest people in the world sometimes don't know the answers to the simple questions. Some of the smartest people in the world oftentimes won't know the answer to the simple questions. So ask the question, no matter how you feel like the doctor's going to look at you or how you feel like the nurse is going to look at you. And again, if he asks if he doesn't have time for you, let him know your concern. Let him know that concern, that you know he's busy, but you don't seem like you have enough time to ask the things that you need to ask. And when I say that, still be mindful of how many people they have to see in a day. So they can't stay and talk maybe for an hour. But if they do, hey, that's fine. Some doctors have their schedules where they can do that. Some doctors have their schedules where they can do that. So I know a lot of people online have been talking about our upcoming presidential elections that will be held in November. Look, no matter who you vote for, just vote. No matter who you vote for, just vote. Because hearing someone say that they won't vote, it's one of the it's not the saddest thing, but it really is a sad thing to hear. It really is a sad thing to hear. And believe it or not, they'll say, well, I didn't march to do it. That's so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful. Or just because they're so dissatisfied with the candidates, they're just so over it. That's still disrespectful. That's disrespectful. What we know for a fact is that people fought for it, and more. So all you got to do, you don't even have to stand in line if you go down there for the time they open. If you go down there to the polls, time they open, you don't even have to stand in line. You don't even have to stand in line. And if you do stand in line, it's just for a few minutes. Okay, it's just for a few minutes. If you go really early, now, presidential elections, if you go at the end, towards the end, the lines do tend to be longer. And in the middle of the day, the lines are longer. So if you can, go as early as possible. Because a lot of people have to go to work first and say, hey, I'm going to vote. So if you don't have to do that, take advantage of that time and just go down there and be there early. And no matter who you're voting for, exercise your right to do it. A lot of people say, well, if the person who wins the popular vote doesn't win it, what's the point? Well, you're still voting for a reason, okay? And you're voting for a reason, and your vote does count. Now, that said, you just have to hope that your electors do the right thing. Because whatever the people of the state say, usually that's what they do. But I don't like this, that they don't have to. They don't, I don't know about all states, but in some states, they don't have to. They don't have to vote the will of the people. So that's kind of crazy. It is discouraging, but for the most part, they tend to do what the people vote for. Who the people vote for, the electors tend to vote that way. Now, with this day and time, I'm not surprised at anything that people do. People will sit there and damn near 100% of their votes could be for one candidate, and the electors might just flip the table. Flip the table. They might just flip the table. Sad to say, because some people can't, some people don't lose well. So some people don't lose well. Granted, these are the people who talk and boast the most about being the best at this and the best at that. But have you guys known someone before? Maybe someone you went to school with, maybe someone you played a sport with, maybe someone in your neighborhood. Whenever you played a game, a simple game, you may just be better than them at it. They do not lose well, okay? So some people don't lose well. And you also have those people who win all the time. And when they do lose, a game, they get angry as well. So people are something else. People are something else. People, we are people. We are people. And they are something else. Hey, good, how are you? So look at the legs move, y'all. Look at the legs move. My neighbors are out. It's getting dark, but many of us are out because it feels so good. It has been raining almost every day at some point throughout the day. Not all day, every day, but at some point throughout the day, it has been raining. And it has felt wonderful. It has felt wonderful. I don't see how, I guess I can see how, oh my gosh. When you walk your dog and you let them poop in someone's grass, those people who pick it up, as they should, I have respect for that, because picking up dog poop and carrying it with me for the rest of my walk, I don't think I would want to do that. I don't think I would want to do that, y'all. Carrying that smell with me until I got home, oh my gosh. Because I see a lot of my neighbors do it. The dog poops. And at least they do it though, because some people don't care. Some people have no morals, no anything. They just do whatever. They let the dog do whatever. But when I see somebody pull out their poop bag or their pooper scooper, I can appreciate that. I just could not do it. I couldn't do it. I would walk my dog. Like, I'm glad somebody else walked my dog. I'm glad somebody else walked the dog. But, you know, if I did walk him, I would have to do it. But I wouldn't want to do it. But I know that that's the right thing to do. Once he does his business, you gotta scoop it up. I'm like, oh my gosh. And if you're not willing to do it, notice I said I wouldn't want to do it. Okay? So if I walk them, I know I gotta be willing to do it. If you're not willing to do it, maybe you shouldn't be walking your dog through the neighborhood. Maybe you should just walk your dog around your house. You know, walk your dog around your house, around your yard. And let him do it that way. Let her do it that way. I know a lot of times people are walking their dogs too so that the dogs can walk it down. But sometimes people truly are walking their dogs so the dog won't do it in their own yard. So how are you going to walk the dog so he won't poop in your yard, his yard, but you let him poop in somebody else's yard and don't clean it up? You wouldn't believe how many people have gotten into altercations about that. There's nothing to get into an altercation about. Okay? If your dog poops, clean it up. If your dog poops, clean it up. Clean it up. Get your little Walmart bag, your little Dollar General bag, and your scooper, or your gloves, both, and just get it up. That's just a dog owner's responsibility, okay? It's a dog owner's responsibility. So I don't like working on the weekends. I like to have my weekends off, but sometimes I will work to help out. I will work to help out. So I'm gonna tell you guys again, if you're off this weekend, enjoy your weekend. Do something good and fun for yourself, with your family. And remember, me time. Always get that me time in, that time for yourself, 20 to 30 minutes. I'm not talking about when you're exercising. That is a good opportunity. When you're exercising, that is a good opportunity for me time, some self-time, for some self-reflection, you know, to think about things. Exercising is a good time for that. But you also want to have that time where you just, maybe no TV, no Netflix, no Hulu, no phone, no, what is the other one? There's so many different streaming services. No social media at all. Just close your eyes and remember, relax, release, relate, repair. You want to repair? Okay? And when we say relate, we say what? Relate to the things that you can and to the things that you can't. That's okay. That's okay. There'll be a time when you can relate to it, or at least, even if you can't relate to it, you can kind of decipher it. You know, you can decipher through it, even if you can't relate to it. So, relax, release, relate to what you can, reset, refocus, restart, rejuvenate, okay? Repair. And just do it for 20 to 30 minutes. Just sit in there. And we can do it. The reasons that I know we can do it is because, again, most of us are on the phone for at least half a day. Half a day. Some of us don't miss a beat. Some of us don't miss anything. YouTube is a prime example. It's like When I go to sleep, okay, the notifications are off or silent. Then when I wake up, people often say, well, if you saw them, then you were there. Yeah, I was. After I got me about 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, they were there throughout that time and throughout the rest of the day. Some people feel like they can't miss a thing. That's kind of sad. That's kind of sad. And what's even sadder is they're not only on one platform, they're on one, two, three, maybe even 4 platforms. They're sharing platform to platform. They're up at night waiting to see someone else and what they're going to do. Then they do it. They're up early in the morning doing the same thing. They're up. And I'm like, wait a minute, you work? When do you sleep? When? You maybe you do, but it can't be a good sleep. You got to be waking up every 2 hours. And some people really do sleep like that. Some people really do sleep like that. But if I'm going to sleep like that, it's not going to be because I don't want to miss something on social media. So yes, there are those of us who do sleep. And when we say that person sees everything, that person is everywhere, it's because when we wake up from going to sleep around 11 or 12, if you're a night owl like me, maybe 1, and we get up like 7 or 8 o'clock, that person is all up and through there 2 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago, an hour ago, 30 minutes ago. And then you get up and you get ready for the day. That person is hitting everywhere that you hit through the day. So it's like, do you get any sleep? Do you rest? Or are you just so consumed with social media, not wanting to miss something, wanting to see everything that a particular person does or particular people do, that you let it affect your sleep pattern, especially if you're of a certain age. Female and males, if you're of a certain age, stop letting social media affect your sleep pattern. Now, if you have a kind of awkward sleep pattern anyway, then you definitely don't need social media affecting what's already awkward, okay? You definitely don't need social media affecting what's already an awkward pattern for you anyway. You don't. Even people who do premieres. But I can understand the premiere because it is just that. It's a premiere. You're not live. You're not up actively like with your binoculars searching through everybody's stuff or particular people's stuff. Particular people's stuff. And then while you're at work, you can barely get your work done because you're just scoping and searching. It doesn't miss you. So it's okay if you miss it a little bit. It doesn't miss you. So it's okay. And I think with a lot of adults, social media wasn't social media-ing like it was when they were in their 20s. So it's almost like they're in competition with their teenagers and their young adult kids to be on top of everything that's going on in social media. That's not good. That's not good. Somebody has to be able to impart the wisdom. Doesn't mean that you're not wise, because you can be 80 years old and making a living off of social media. But when I see social media consume a person to the point where they're counting every little view, every little watch time, every little, and they're not social media famous, that says a lot. That says a lot. That says a lot. One, it says they have become obsessive, even though they'll say that they're not. They'll say that it's only this, and it's only TikTok, it's only YouTube, it's only Facebook, but they have become obsessive. But they'll say that it's only this, that, and the other. when they celebrate certain things on social media. That's great, but how great is it if at adult age, it's not really doing anything for your pockets? It's not really doing anything for your pockets. That's why I tell my family and friends, if I ever get to a point where I'm jumping up and down about a view, I better have hit about 5 million, because there's no way. There is no way. There is no way. Now, some of the things that go on social media kind of make me a little bit ticked off, pissed off, and perturbed. But stuff like getting this and getting that. And I say that because social media should be a place of networking. Whether you get a view, a super chat, a super sticker, a cash app, it should be a place of networking. Social media has not made some people rich by being content creators, but social media has helped people with their businesses. Now that I can get excited about. That I can jump up and down about. That I can be overjoyed about. Hey, Vanessa, I'm so sorry. Vanessa, I'm on top chat if you're still in here. So, Vanessa Smith, I've been just looking and walking because you know it's starting to get darker earlier. So I have to watch for these pets. But I didn't think to hit the all chat, the all messages. So I'm so sorry. You know, when I start talking, I don't look down a lot. Unless I see quite a few people come in. So if it's not that many people, or if I don't see 1 or 2 people, like after the first 5 or 6 minutes, I just start talking. I just start walking and talking. Vanessa says, yes, I'm here. That's okay. Vanessa, I'm so glad you're still here. Because I hate to be apologizing and you don't hear it, because I do mean it. I'm so sorry. I think at one point I muted, but I don't know. I don't know if the live just does that. Like sometimes you have to hit it. Like sometimes I'm in the live, right? And I'll see comments, and then I'll see somebody when I'm actively in the live, like really watching, and I'm looking at the chat, and I'll see someone respond, and I'm like, who are they responding to, or what are they responding to? And it may even be 2 people I'm familiar with, and I'm like, I didn't see her. And then I have to realize that a lot of times you got to hit the okay, thank you. A lot of times you got to hit the all chats to see every message, or all messages, not all chat, all messages. And when I don't do that, sometimes you will miss it. You'll miss it. You'll miss the people that come in and speak to you if you don't hit all messages. Hey, Chef Finest Wine. Hey, my Chef Finest Wine. Ain't nothing up much, bro. Just walking and chilling. It feels so good out here. It's like, oh my God, it's breezy. It's nice. We had a good rain shower. Vanessa, Chef says, hey, boo. Hey. Chef, I wanted to ask you, did you, if you're still here, did you see where the officer in Miss Massey's case is calling himself, I think, trying to sue? Vanessa says, hey, Chef. He calls himself trying to sue for, what do you call it when they're just let go? I guess improper firing. Idiot. He has the nerve. I don't know if it's his union, because you know there's something, these police unions are something else. When their officers get into trouble, they will still try to defend them to the end. You can have, I don't know, is that because they pay their fees or something? But I don't think that's the real reason. I think it's just because they feel like they're above the law. But he calls himself trying to sue. I went into the liquor store, then had to pop off just a smidge, just a little bit. Who's suing? I know you freaking, yes, racist people. Okay, right, Chef. Vanessa, they are something else. I'm like, what do you mean he's trying to sue? And I said, well, maybe, you know what? I think there are some cases where the union won't even back you. Because now with that George Floyd incident, I don't think the union touched. What was his name? Chauvin? Derek Chauvin? I don't think they touched it. I think they kind of, they backed up and they were like hands off. But it is so weird how somebody, I want to say his union, or he may just have representation. He may just be his representation. But they call themselves trying to sue because he was fired. Yes, 1,000% demon from hell. He got his nerves. Exactly. Vanessa says, right, Chef? It was cold-blooded with no regard. No regard. When somebody says where they're going to shoot you and they shoot you there, how in the hell do you think? That's almost like somebody saying that they used to use the one that they feared for their lives. They don't even try to use that lie anymore. They just do it. They just do stuff. But y'all, so much has happened in this country as far as those type of incidences. What would make them continue? What would make these officers continue? They're continuing because they still feel like they are above the law. That's why they continue. They still feel like at the end of the day, they won't be that one that's charged. They'll be that one to get the slap on the wrist. After Ahmaud Arbery, you would think that would slow some of them down. After Sandra Bland, which nobody was ever prosecuted, but it still got the national attention, international attention. None of the things that have happened in the past, in the recent past, slows them down. They still feel like they are above the law. And that's why people are saying that we're putting our emotions into the Project 2025, right? Let me tell y'all something. If you don't like to read, you're not going to want to read that 902-page piece of BS. Read it. If you don't like to read it. People telling you about it can help you to understand to a degree. But you know, some people are from the show me state of mind. And some of the things they may feel like, well, affordable housing doesn't affect me. You know, the Department of Education doesn't affect me. I'm 30 years old. I'm not going back to school. You know, people feel like that. Food stamps, I don't get them anyway. That doesn't affect me. A woman's right to choose, that doesn't affect me. But if a man's rights to choose start to come into play, if we got a female president or we got a female-controlled Congress, then men would truly understand what women mean. You know? And a lot of men do understand. A lot of men do understand. And why do they understand? Because they have mothers, they have sisters, they have aunties, they have cousins, they have nieces, they have good friends who have gone through things. And they've had to make certain medical decisions that no congressman who doesn't have a medical degree should be making for them. Okay? So if you don't like to read, I suggest you get like even a watered down version of that Project 2025. And a lot of people are saying, oh, they're just using that to gaslight y'all. Let me tell you something. We remember what we had when we had Trump in office the last time, right? You know who's pushing that Project 2025? The people who were members of his cabinet. So if they were members of his cabinet then, some of them his family members, don't you know that they're going to push that 2025? And then what they've done is kind of watered it down a little bit. And they're calling it now, his version is the Agenda 47. Okay? So Agenda 47 ain't nothing but 2025 watered down. Okay? So read it. Because I've witnessed, and what I'm seeing on these social media platforms is that a lot of our people are not getting how serious it can be, and they think that it's just something that I guess that Democrats are putting out there or just making a big deal out of. No, I saw people promoted who was in his cabinet, who are on pins and needles to get back into his cabinet if he gets in again. And they are going to put this stuff, push it to Congress. And I heard someone even say, well, it's got to go through Congress. When you got the right people in charge, and if you have the right party controlling Congress, Congress can do anything. All they need is their majority. You know, all they need is their majority. And so the things that are in Project 2025 and the things that are in Agenda 47, if they get through the Senate and the House, he's going to sign them, no matter how much he tries to say he doesn't know what they're talking about. So please be mindful and use, it boils down to common sense. Common sense. Kamala is not perfect. Did she put people in jail? Yes, she did. But why do our people always hold people accountable that look more like them than they do other people? Because guess what? She was a district attorney. That's what district attorneys do. Now, is justice fair everywhere? No. We all know that the first thing they say is, well, it depends on the state that you live in. So if she's a district attorney, right, who became the Attorney General of California, she's a district attorney, then you know when you go for a crime, she's going to be the one prosecuting you. She's not a defense attorney. She's not a defense attorney. She was a prosecutor. She didn't make the laws, but if you were guilty and she thought you were guilty, she did prosecute you. She didn't do anything any other prosecutor across this country didn't do. Prosecute those. Now, some may say she was fair or unfair. That's every state that we have in this union. Every state that we have in the United States has an unjust justice system. You know? He definitely has his nerve, Chef. That's crazy. That video has enraged me so much. That poor lady wouldn't hurt her. Okay, Chef, and they said she was 36 years old. Now, I didn't see her face, but I could tell she wasn't on no crazy stuff. That lady was walking around in her little robe, like a gown, like, you know, most 36-year-olds probably would have been, you know, she just didn't give those vibes. I don't know, didn't know her personally, but she was in her house, hair wrapped, night clothes on for the night, calling to get some assistance. Calling to get assistance. And that's why so many people, you know, it's like, what do you do if you're in a situation where you're afraid? Because not only are you in a situation where you're afraid, then you're in a situation where you're afraid to call. And then sometimes when people call on other people, they get a little bit, even though they may be having a, you know, a tiff, a rift or whatever, they get a little afraid to call because they're thinking they don't want them to get hurt, you know? They're thinking they don't want them to get hurt. Even when you're into it with somebody, or, because you know, sometimes family have words and they get loud and the neighbor calls the police, right? So nowadays people are afraid to call. You know, they might be in a situation where they're afraid right then and there, but then they're also afraid to call. That's crazy. So please read that, y'all. And when someone tells you something like, oh, it's meant to gaslight you, think about, even if it wasn't something that affected you, think about how easily he passed things that angered so many people before, took away things that angered people. And this time he's coming in still angry from being defeated. Because no matter what he says, he didn't accept that defeat like a man. Okay? He didn't accept that defeat like a man. What president on his way out doesn't go to the new president's inauguration? Even his vice president had enough sense and enough integrity and enough morals and values to be present. Okay? Who does that? With no good reason. And then leaves with documents that he should not have left with. So if he can do that, don't you know that he's going to allow his people to do whatever? And what we have to think about is, people are saying, oh, that has to pass the House and it has to pass the Senate. I'm sitting here and I'm looking like, do you know how close the House and the Senate are to being either way, being run by the Republicans or run by the Democrats? The last time the Democrats won it by 2 seats. So do you know how close those races can be? So if it is a conservative House and a conservative Senate, then those conservative ridiculous issues that they're trying to push and pass will be passed. Okay, they will be passed. And I hear so many people complain about money. They put money in the president. They equate the two. They don't have this because of the president. They don't have that because of the president. Congress controls the purse strings. That has been said a million times. If anything, that's probably one of the few things that is absolutely true. Congress controls the purse strings. Okay, the president doesn't control the purse strings. You see how they go back and forth when you're talking about supporting these people who are at war? It's like, well, if we're going to send money, you better do this. If we're going to send money, you better do that, or we're voting against it. Congress controls the purse strings, not just in times of war, but domestically. They control the purse strings, period. You know, there are some things that presidents can do, certain mandates they can do. You know, there are certain things that they can do, but when you're talking about money, like, I get so tired of the reparations. I get so tired of hearing about that. Not tired of it because I don't think it's due or should be. But when people speak on reparations, the first thing they do is refer to the president. The president just can't do that. He just can't do that. Sometimes there are things that we need to just learn about. And I'm not talking about these woke folks that be like, I love woke people. But sometimes some people be too woke for their own good. Like, they start telling you about stuff that's not even really relevant to the situation at hand. So y'all, I'm sure y'all know the type of woke people I'm talking about. It's like, they'll ask you something, or they'll try to, oh, YouTube, that ain't me, that's the neighbor. Oh, I know y'all hear that. They'll be so woke until they're just ready to come through the screen, right? And I'm like, you're so woke, but a lot of times your wokeness it doesn't relate to the issue at hand. I was listening to a content creator last night, big content creator. She had people calling in, y'all. The lack of knowledge that I heard was it was like a lack of knowledge for the basic things. And even if I went on a limb and say, well, maybe it wasn't a lack of knowledge, it's like, I can't even do it because a question was asked, and instead of asking the question, they start talking about other countries and other leaders, and I'm like, no, we're talking about us. We're talking about the United States right now. Like, stay in this lane. Stay in this lane. Chef says, and in my opinion, that wasn't an attempt to assassinate. I got you, Chef. You know how they do, so I stopped it before I said it, but yeah, it seems fake as a $2 bill. His ear looks free and clear. Okay, look, Chef, I don't know if you heard him. He was like, he wasn't going to talk about it. During the convention, he said that was going to be the one time he talked about it. Oh, he been talking about it. He been talking about it. And a lot of people feel that way, Chef. A lot of people feel that way. Because a lot of people feel like it was makeup, you know, and I was thinking, well, that would have been a quick makeup job, or, you know, which it could have been, doesn't mean it's impossible. But to look at it now, it's like Chef saying, like, where is the injury? Like, where's the injury? I just chalked it up to, I don't like looking, you know, when you just, oh my gosh, when somebody just irks your nerves. But I'm going to pay closer attention to Chef, because I haven't really paid attention since I think the last time I really paid attention to it, he was still wearing the bandage. So now I have to look at it, because, you know, people were saying that. So now if you've seen it without the bandage and it looks clear, then that feeds into what people were thinking. It feeds into the theory that people had. Vanessa says, I said the same thing, Chef. Chef says, yep, for real, for real. If he becomes president, I think the U.S. is, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. You, Chef, you know what? The other day I said, no matter what you think about Biden, it seemed like the press, if the press hadn't jumped on that get rid of him thing so fast, we don't know what would have happened. Yeah, he was behind a little bit in polls, but there was a time when Barack was behind in polls. And he won. He won the second time by more than he won the first time. And I think he was behind in the polls the second time. And he won by even a bigger landslide. So I'm like, look, he's 81 years old. But I'd much rather have him because guess what? The president is basically a spokesperson. He don't run the country by himself. That's why he has a cabinet. That's why he has a vice president. But the one who wants to be president, he wants to be a king. And he just said recently that once you vote this time, you won't have to do it again. You probably won't have to do it again. So what does that say? He wants to be the one to go down in history of just changing the American platform. He wants to be the one to go down in history changing the American platform. So I don't know, maybe he wants to be a king so that when he does step down, his sons can be kings. And we already know what that'll be. We think it's a mess with him. We already know what that would be. We think he's a mess. The only son that would probably be half decent is the baby boy. You never know what they've been brainwashing him with. But you know how sometimes you have these weird and wild families, and then you always have one that like rebels. You have one son or one daughter that rebels. Those two sons are just like him, just as clueless as he is. So I'm like, there is hope for the youngest one. There is hope for the youngest one. Hopefully they haven't gotten into his mind to a point where if it's going to be one that'll rebel, hopefully it will be him. Because if he gets in, that is what his intentions are. It's to just stay in as long as he wants to. And you got so many people saying, oh, you must watch this, or you must watch CNN, you must watch MSNBC. No, I watch him, and I listen to the words that come out of his mouth. That's what I do. I watch him, and I listen to the words that come out of his mouth. And what better way to know what a person's intentions are than for that person to tell you? What better way to know a person's intentions than for that person to tell you? So yes, Kamala is not perfect. And some of the cases that she prosecuted, if you get into the nitty gritty of the cases, we would probably feel like they could have been prosecuted differently. But guess what? We would feel like that about every prosecutor in the United States. We would really feel like that about every prosecutor in the United States. And some people just have an issue with people being prosecuted that they know. If you're out here committing crimes, they're not looking to have tea with you. They don't want to have cake and tea if you're committing crimes. And we know that the justice system is unfair. So when you go out and intentionally break the law, you know what you look like, you know who you are, you know that the justice system will give you 20 years for what they'll give somebody else 10 months of probation for. So don't do it. Don't do it. Let that be your deterrent. Let that be what scares you out of doing the things that you do. Now, of course, it's easier said than done when we tell people don't do any crimes, but just with the United States justice system, and I know each state is different, but one thing about it, most of them, the way they serve justice is different based on what you look like and based on your financial status. based on your social economic status is different. It's different. They'll sit right there and tell you that a 30-year-old is a kid, and at the same time send a 15-year-old to an adult prison. Okay? They'll tell you that a 30-year-old is a kid. Oh, first offense, he's a kid. Kind of like the officer in Miss Massey's case. You're 30 years old and you've worked at 6 different agencies? 6? You've been in the military? This is how they cover. This is how unfair the justice system is. Even the military did not give him a dishonorable discharge. He didn't get it was so, y'all, I ain't never heard of this. I've only heard of you get an honorable discharge or you get a dishonorable discharge, right? Even if you fail your PT test, I've known people that they were just so done with the military, they felt like they didn't want to be there, they made a mistake, so they do it in a way that they don't get penalized. They kind of just don't pass the physical part that they should pass, and they get discharged. Yes, Vanessa, I'm like, I ain't never heard of this mess. They said that he didn't get an honorable discharge, he didn't get a dishonorable discharge. So I'm like, so what the heck did he get? He just got kicked out. But when you get kicked out, that is supposed to be a dishonorable discharge. So I really don't, I understand it. I know why. I know why. And look at him. He towered over that lady. They want the respect of being these big, burly, men's men, but then they act like cowards. They want the respect of being a man's man, a big, burly man, but then they act like cowards. And this is just, the more I hear about her case, the more I see the video, like Chef said, the more angry I get, because they should not have been inside of her home in the first place. And he has the nerves to be, I guess, suing the city because he was terminated. One of the jobs that he had is one of those 6 jobs. They said that he was part-time and a part-time officer. He didn't. Now, what is this if it's not quitting? They say that he didn't get fired and he didn't give a formal notice. He just stopped coming. Y'all, what do you call that when you don't give a formal notice and you just stop coming to work? You quit. They word things so stupidly and expect people to fall for it with some people until it's ridiculous. And this is just the media. The guy saying it on the news was looking like with rolling his eyes. He was like, okay, he wasn't fired and he didn't quit. He just stopped coming. What is just stop coming? When you just stop coming to work, you quit. That is how they wrote it up for him so that he could be able to get another job. That's called making sure he didn't get blackballed, right? And that is one thing that I don't know if I don't think that there's a formal law. It could be like with the EEOC. You're not supposed to blackball people. Even if they quit, you're not supposed to just blackball people, throw out rumors and, prevent them from making a living. You're not supposed to do that. But at the same time, you don't have to lie either. Like, when they send those forms and they're like, would you rehire this person? To say no is not blackballing them. Now, if they ask you more and you give more information, as a company or the company representative, you should be able to say, all I can tell you, and this is what it was years ago, all I can tell you is that he or she worked here from so-and-so to so-and-so, and no, we would not hire them back. But these jobs are it's not even really sneaky, it's just underhanded. They'll get you to sign a paper, because if you don't sign the paper, they're not going to consider you. Get you to sign a paper saying that they can do these investigations, right? So that means that they can ask these questions like, were you on time and things like that. I'm cool with that. But, because they say, sometimes it just doesn't work out. So it's not fair if a person says, you know what, they didn't do this, they didn't do that. So they have like basic general questions that they're supposed to ask. And one of them can be, were you on time? Did you get along well with the others? They can say yes, they can say no, but they aren't supposed to go into such detail till they get to the point of blackballing you, right? So a lot of us have to, so a lot of us sometimes, people, when we look up for jobs, we wonder what did the past employer say, or what did the employer say we had 5 years ago. We kind of wonder, did they say some things that could kind of blackball you, But this man, they went out of their way not to blackball him. Most people worry about getting blackballed. They went out of their way. They in a ridiculous way. They didn't, you know what? It wasn't to make sure that they didn't blackball him. It was to make sure that he still got another job. They did enough to make sure that he still would get another job. Hey, Spiky, what's going on, Spiky? Welcome to the chat, Spiky. So they did enough to make sure that he would still be able to find employment. So they went out of their way not to blackball him by saying he didn't get fired, he didn't quit, he just stopped coming to work. Well, when you just stop going to work, that means you quit. If you're on the schedule and you don't come to work, some jobs will let you do it once, some will let you do it twice. But when you just don't come back to work, that's called you quit. You ended the employment. Vanessa says, hey, Spiky, that's called you ended the employment. So, y'all, we're just hoping, I'm hoping, I think the most people in this country are hoping for justice and no slaps on the wrist, and for him to just kind of throw it. Dude, just sit down. You're trying to sue somebody after you did what you did, and then, oh, you turned on your cam after the fact. After the fact. And a lot of people are mad at his partner, as should be, but at the very least, the partner followed protocol. At least his cam was on. There has been talk about, I don't know each state or each city's rules about it, but why invest all this money into cameras, body cams, and you don't use them? You have them off. Now, a lot of times they have it that if you don't have the cam on, you'll get some type of reprimand. Well, in a situation like this, forget a reprimand. They fired him, which they should have, but now he's sitting up in jail. But see, a situation like this, he didn't have his cam on. What good is a reprimand? If they don't have their cam on, that should be fired right there. Even if nobody is Kate, you gotta be careful. Even if nobody is Kate, that not having the camera on should be automatic firing. Because just think about it, they encounter people who have illegal substances. They encounter a lot of people. So if we want the whole truth, the full truth, even though a lot of times, even with the cam, you can't get the full truth, it's best to have the cam on. Stop placing them above the law. Stop acting like they're not human. Every human being has the potential to tell a lie. Every human being has the potential to tell a lie, especially when they've done something that they should not have done, especially when they've done something that they should not have done and they know they should not have done it. So every human being has the potential to lie. So if they don't have their cams on, there should be automatic termination. There's no telling how many times he's been called and didn't have his camera on. There's no telling how many times he's been called and did not have his body cam on. So again, thank you, Vanessa. Thank you, Chef Finest Wine. Thank you, Spiky. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. Y'all, look, have a great rest of your night. Have a great rest of your weekend. Get you some rest tomorrow. Do something fun tomorrow. Chill out. Do whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that makes you happy. Take care of yourself. And look, don't let people bother you. Don't let stress people stress you out. And don't stay in anybody's misery lounge, okay? If you find yourself in a misery lounge, guess what? The host will probably be happy. They're just there to try to make sure everybody else is miserable. So grab your grip and get up out of there, okay? Grab your grip and go. And thank you again so much, Vanessa. Thank you for understanding. I gotta remember, usually I'm good about hitting the all messages. I gotta remember to hit the all messages. so that I can see who's that somebody is in here. Thank you again, my chef finest wine, my moderator, and thank you, Spiky, for coming in. So I will see you guys on the next Let's Walk and Talk Live. Bye, y'all. Oh, look, y'all know I gotta say peace, positivity, and prosperity. Okay, I wish that for each and every one of us. Okay, because without peace, there's chaos, and without positivity, there's negativity. And wherever they live and breathe together, you fail to prosper to your fullest potential. So I wish you guys peace, positivity, and prosperity. Bye, y'all.